Good afternoon, all, and thanks very much for joining us for the postgraduate seminar series here at CUBS, Cork University Business School, for the Masters in Managerial Information and Management Accounting Systems. For short, we call it MEMAS. This program, I'm going to give you a brief introduction of the program itself. I will follow this with a discussion with three of our graduates and alumni of the program. We will also talk to our career service about the graduate opportunities within the program. And then we will pass back to my co-director, Wendy, for a Q&A session at the end. In terms of the MEMAS program itself, MEMAS is a unique value proposition in that it is the only program currently in Ireland that gives both accounting and information systems program. So here we learn about both how organizations use data to analyze companies' past trends and future trends, the financial performance and health of companies, and how we can use that information to manage operations in a company into the future. We also learn how organizations use data, how they design systems, particularly databases, and a basic foundation in programming and how to use object-oriented programming within business. This is particularly useful for anyone who would like to go into data analytics as a starter career, or we have a range of industries which graduates follow on into out of this program. So in terms of the program itself, it's a 12-month program with credit split between accounting, where we go through financial accounting and management accounting, and information systems, where we go through database design and programming, as well as organizational use of data. The program is then followed in the third semester or the summer for 3 months with either a placement or an industry project, which is done as a group project between students. Typically, our success rate in placing students has been quite high in the past, and our projects that come out of the industry project tend to be of very high quality, giving industry insights into significant problems that industry are facing. For example, last year we had a group look at the impact of COVID on management accounting systems within organizations for crisis management. So to begin, I'm going to introduce John Bulger. John recently graduated in the past week of the program. So we'll ask John a couple of questions on his insights into the program itself and where he is now after the program.
Oliver, how are you?
Hi, John. Thanks very much for joining us. So maybe we might start with if you give us a minute about yourself, where you're from, and how you heard about MEMAS and applied.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm from Gorey, County Wexford. I completed my undergrad degree out in America, and it was kind of a general business management degree. And when I came home with that degree, I just felt I was missing something to really make myself an asset within industry, mainly is what I was looking at the time. And I tried applying for grad programs. I wasn't getting any success. So I decided to look for a master's program. And I was literally scrolling through what UCC were offering. And that's when I came across MEMAS. And what really drew me towards it was the information system side of it. I realized that's what I was missing because in my undergrad degree, it was completely business related. There was no kind of IT or information systems aspect to it. And just missing that experience was kind of hurt me in the application process, I felt, with the graduate programs. So yeah, that's how I ended up applying.
Brilliant. And I suppose industry is wanting more and more graduates to be, we'll say, interdisciplinary, where, as you say, the business might not be enough, but if you have that information systems, it can really help boost your CV. And so you might describe to me maybe some of the ways you've applied the information systems and the business in the roles that you've followed onto out of the program.
Yeah, so when I first, or the role that I did for the placement element of the program was a IT audit graduate program with Mazars. So I'd gone from having no IT experience before MEMAS to working in an IT role all of a sudden, which was definitely unexpected, but it was exciting. So that IT audit was a really good mix. It kind of incorporated everything MEMAS has to offer, the main aspect of it was auditing kind of auditing systems that companies were using, but kind of in the background of it all always was the kind of that the information that we were auditing from these systems was going to reflect eventually on the financial statements. So it had the accounting element of it as well. And IT audit is definitely becoming more and more prevalent and more needed because information systems and, say, managerial accounting and financial accounting are just becoming more and more integrated. So I was definitely getting started in it at a good time. It was the use of everything that on the IS side of MEMAS definitely helped me throughout it. There was a lot of database kind of auditing, kind of access to database, who had access and that kind of thing, security, and then also even the programming element of MEMAS. While it was kind of more only at an introductory level, it was really what was needed to be able to perform IT audit. So definitely found that very helpful from MEMAS. Then afterwards, I decided to leave that role not too long ago, and I ended up working with a golf management company. And probably more down the line, having the managerial accounting as part of my education will definitely become very useful with that. It'll kind of running reports for how kind of golf courses are performing and stuff like that. So I just felt like every single thing that I studied in MEMAS has come to benefit me since. So it was definitely found to be very useful that way.
Brilliant. One of the dangers that's highlighted in research is allowing, we'll say, people with IT experience but no business experience to do a lot of the IT audit that you're talking about. So that kind of made you a perfect candidate to take over that role. But I suppose since, that made you an excellent candidate for placement, but since you've managed to land your dream role, so can you describe maybe how that came about, or how?
Yeah. So, while I was working in the IT audit role, I just realized that it just wasn't for me, pretty much. And I felt the only way I was going to find that out, because I was so determined to end up in the industry, the only way I was going to find that out was by doing it. So then I just started looking in different areas. I've been a golfer my whole life. So a job came up with Synergy Golf Management, which is the company that I'm with. And I didn't really know this type of company really existed. Their kind of model is that they lease out different golf clubs and run them. And I just thought it was brilliant. So I applied for a job with them. I had a lot of things going for me and helped me through the process. Obviously, having a good golf background helped, but also having the capacity to help out with the more managerial side of things in terms of the managerial accounting and being somewhat technical even as well has definitely set me apart from other candidates when applying for the job.
So we might just bring you back there for one final question on the placements. I know typically, very few people get their first placement. How was your experience of the applications and placements and interviews? Did you have many? How did that work for you?
Yeah, it was hectic, I would say, because they came so early in the academic year, because the Big Four and a lot of big audit firms, their deadlines are up, I think maybe by mid-October or something like that for applications. So I felt when started with MEMAS, the first few weeks, I nearly had to remind myself that I was doing a master's program because I was so focused on applying for jobs and getting my CV right. Aileen, of course, was a great help with that. But I found the recruitment fair actually really helped a lot, the UCC recruitment fair. That's when I got in touch with Mazars, and they kind of saw the course I was doing, and they messaged me to a representative from Mazars messaged me to speak based off kind of the profile that you set up for the recruitment fair. So that was great. From there, it was kind of plain sailing with the application. Again, it was very easy to make my CV look good, but with Aileen's help and also just being able to talk about the program that I was doing, just made things a lot easier.
Thanks very much, John. One of the great strengths of the program, and I'll be coming back to you in the future, is the program is running for 17 years now. We have a huge amount of alumni on the program and people we bring back as guest speakers. So I'll be on to in the future to come back, especially the broad range of industries that we go into. We go into all industries. Yours is particularly unique. So thanks very much again, John. And
thanks for having me.
Time out of your day.
Yeah, talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
Thanks very much, John. So now we'll talk to Rashna.
Hi, Oliver. How are you?
I'm good now, Rashna. Yourself?
I'm good too. I'm good.
Thanks very much for coming on to talk to us. So we might do the same as John. You might just give us maybe a minute or two about yourself and where you're from and how you came to apply to the program.
Actually, I'm from Mumbai, India, and I did my bachelor's in information systems. And I was working as a SAP consultant at Accenture and Tata Consultancy Services for 4 years in India before coming to Ireland. So when I wanted to do a course, I was a core IT developer, and I knew the SAP side of things. When I was looking at a course, I wanted a blend, which helps me elevate my IT side of things, but then also introduces me to management and accounting. So when I heard about this program, and I was going through a lot of programs in Ireland, this was I felt this was the right fit for me because it's a blend of IT, business, and accounting. So that is how I landed up in MIMAS, and that is how my journey started in 2019.
Perfect. Thanks very much. So I suppose you're kind of a unique applicant for us, and we'll focus mainly on the fact that you're an experienced applicant and an international applicant. So we might just start with the experience part. So that would have given you a particularly different approach to placement and how you applied from there. Can you describe how you went about your placement and applications there?
I remember, obviously, the way things work here and back in India were a bit different in terms of, CV prep and everything. So I recall that we had 3 to 4 sessions of CV prep. So, they explained us how a CV for Ireland looked like. And then, we had to submit our CVs. They rated us, and that really helped. And Aileen, I remember having sessions with Aileen, 2 or 3 sessions, and she was very helpful. And Boston Scientific, I got my first placement in Ireland through the program. So I was the first I was the first candidate in my batch to be placed. And Boston Scientific recruits from MIMAS and IAP courses. And it was in October. And I guess my previous background did help because they were looking for someone, with a bit of SAP knowledge. But then the supply chain side of things, were obviously an advantage to me from the MIMAS program. So yeah.
Brilliant. And as an international applicant to the program, can you describe your experience of that? Who did you contact here? How did you hear about the program, and how did the whole visa application process proceed for you?
They were they were I guess some fairs related to Ireland. I was looking at a lot of places to go, and I remember attending various fairs, for Ireland, Germany, and stuff. And if I know the name correctly, Tariq Almond from
Tarek,
yeah, he was there, and I remember speaking to him, and I discussed 3, 4 courses with him, and he suggested me MIMAS could be the right fit. Then I went back home and did a bit of research from my end, and that is how I felt this was the right course for me.
Brilliant. And in terms of the visa for the actual placement itself, everything was smooth. You were all able to get everything. There was no issues with that.
Oh, no, because I started my internship with Boston, and then just within 6 months, after the course, the internship is for 6 months, then I was promoted to an open role. And so I worked at Boston Scientific for a year, and everything was sorted visa-wise. Then I've moved on from Boston Scientific to Glanbia. I'm working as a senior SAP business consultant here in Glanbia past 7 months. So the visa and all has worked out fine, for me.
And how are you enjoying your role in Glanbia?
It's very good. I feel, especially before coming, doing the master's program, I didn't have much exposure to finance and accounting. With my current role, that really helps. When John said, he didn't know the IT side of things, and I was wondering, it was the same for me with the finance and management thing. So now I'm a SAP business analyst, and then obviously my main focus is supply chain and sales. But then knowing the accounting and understanding the intricacies of management accounting helps me somewhere in the role at Glanbia.
Brilliant. I suppose you're also a unique applicant in that in the people that are to graduate, in that the people that we have on the call would have graduated last year, you were the year before, so you at least
Yeah,
got
yeah, yeah.
some element of on campus. Can you
Hmm.
describe your campus experience and how you enjoyed that?
Oh, it was lovely. I so missed it, when the whole COVID thing happened. But then first semester, I remember attending a lot of seminars and recruitment fairs. And MIMAS is such a busy program. It's such a busy program. We were not prepared for that. Every week we had submissions, and I love the fact about MIMAS is that like we had some individual projects and assignments going on. At the same time, you work with the whole team, you work with everyone in the batch. So, and then there was this like the main project which goes across like both the semesters. So that was a very big deal of learning for me. And second semester there were people all across, like we were sitting, I was in Ireland or India, somewhere in Germany, and we tried to sort that out. It was a good learning experience. And I miss campus so much. I tried whenever I come to Cork, I make it a point that I visit UCC.
Brilliant. So if I'll give you one more question just to wrap up. What was your favorite thing about the program?
Main thing, for me personally, the exposure, like the people in the class were very diverse. Like, some were core IT developers, some were, pursuing ACCA, some were, into supply chain. And then the sort of discussion we used to have was really great, because before that it was like, you stick to one field and then, you deal with people from that field. But after coming to MIMAS, it's like, we doing one project, but there are so many different ideas coming up, and you think, oh my God, you haven't even thought of that. So that was great. And some of the professors were really, I remember Fogel, he was like the one of the best professors that I've dealt with. So, it was a very good experience for me overall.
Brilliant. Thanks very much. Fergal is one of our best at dealing with at students. He's
Yeah, yeah. He's really good. I remember all the sessions with him.
brilliant. Thanks very much for that, Rashna. We'll have you back later on for the Q&A session.
Yeah, yeah. Thanks,
Thanks
Oliver.
very much. So now we'll talk to Tobias.
Hello, how are you?
Hi, Tobias. Thanks for joining. We might just start again the same, a minute or two about yourself, how you came to the program and where you're from.
So I'm from Germany, and that's also where I did my bachelor's degree. I did it at the University of Applied Sciences there in business administration. So I have a somewhat similar background like John. But then between MIMAS and my bachelor's degree, I did a gap year with the Oetker Group. Probably most living in Ireland do know Dr. Oetker. And there I worked in both areas, like also management accounting and IT. And I really liked that composition. And for that reason, I looked for a degree that covers that. And also a degree abroad, because obviously English is not my native language. And I wanted to also improve my knowledge of language of English as well. And for that reason, I looked for a degree abroad that covers that. And MIMAS pretty much was the perfect fit for that. It was never discussion that I did my master's degree, because in Germany, the job market is working quite differently. You used to have the diploma in Germany, and that's like the bachelor's and master's degree combined. And if you don't do a master's degree in Germany, some career paths are just not open for you. And therefore, I wanted to do a master's degree, and that was the perfect fit. And I ended up working for Oetker again. I'm at the moment a financial controller for ODIF, that's a subsidiary of Dr. Oetker. And I'm between jobs, actually. I'll be starting as a trainee in management next month for Dr. Oetker.
Brilliant. So I suppose, obviously, you applied knowing that you wanted that mix of both, we'll say, IT and management accounting, or accounting, financial accounting. And how did you find yourself using those in ODIV? Is it something that you would use every day? Do you use all aspects of the course throughout your job?
Pretty much, yeah. I'm using it all the time. One of the most important things for me in the course is that you have the IT foundations there, because in ODIV, I worked at a project to introduce an ERP system, Microsoft Dynamics. And there you have to cope with a lot of data problems, like databases, data analytics, automation. And the MIMAS program is teaching you the foundations of IT. So I knew some IT before, but having the academic foundation really makes a difference, because before that I was totally self-taught, and it's sometimes hard to really get what object orientation or some other IT related topics are if you don't go through the theory. And with a program, you can go through the theory. I didn't need it that much for the management accounting part, because I have my bachelor's degree in management accounting as well. But again, that also helped, because you've plainly forget some things, and you can also use that if you already have a background in one of the topics. You can also use it as a refresher, and you'll anyway always learn something new as well. So even for me, being from one background and having experience in both fields, actually, I still learned a lot there. Used the data analytics and database things, and worked out really fun for me.
Brilliant. I suppose one of the things that we try with the program is we get external speakers in and people from different industries or sectors. Is there any particular that stand out to you, particularly in, we'll say, Joe Healy's module, that might have you might have spoken to someone or heard from someone and it was particularly interesting?
Yeah, those sessions really helped me a lot, because as I've mentioned, Germany is quite different from Ireland, and it helped me to get the new perspective about Ireland's job market and Ireland's industry, but also about the international industry as well. And Ireland is much more international than Germany is, and therefore you start getting new ideas about how business work, how businesses can, have an impact internationally, and that really helped for me. I think the most useful session that we had, where we spoke to industry experts from different industry, like the consultant industries, and also from, I think it was HP. And you could really see what options you have, that you can really go into all the different industries, and that you can really, for me, must go on to anywhere, IT, management, accounting, but also from the industry, you can go to a consulting company like PwC or EY, or you can also go to like Boston Scientific, we just had Rashna here, or companies like Apple even, that have a totally different business model, and you still get prepared for that.
And what was your favorite module or part of the program or aspect of the program?
I think for me personally, it was the advanced programming in business, because like I've mentioned, that really gave me the foundation to understand many things and build up on that. And that's the nice thing as well. You can get the foundation that you need. You can learn how to program properly, but at that stage, you are not really an experienced developer or anything, or you just know how to write basic scripts, and you can figure yourself other things out from there yourself. And that's the nice thing, because after that, you have got all the options. You can go self-taught into software development. You can start writing your own scripts, gather experience, and the placement also helps for that, because I personally went straight into the job. But even without that, if you want to go into software development from there, you can use the placement as a starting point, and then, just grow from there.
And I suppose one final question, that's just point of clarification, which is you did your placement in Germany with Erdev, and how did you find that experience in terms of managing, we'll say, the requirements of the college and being in a different country, and the placement process from Aileen's side? Was that all easy, or how did that work?
That was all very easy, yeah. I always had a lot of support from Aileen. We had those sessions throughout the year, and it also helped me to get an idea whether I want to work in Germany or in Ireland. And for that reason, I felt like I was always prepared and I knew what to expect. And I also knew what the requirements were and how I fulfill the requirements. And for that reason, everything for me was already settled at that point when I started. And from there on, you were in your placement, you could, no problems, both do your academic requirements and the work requirements, and everything was working smoothly there.
Brilliant. Thank you so much for that, Tobias. I'll leave you go for the moment, but we'll bring you back in about 10 minutes for our Q&A session, if that's okay with you.
Perfect.
Thanks very much. So we'll introduce Aileen now, and I think I'll come off.
Hi there. Thanks very much, Oliver, and it's lovely to see all of the students back online here to support the MEMAS program. So I'm the work placement manager, and I really enjoy working with MEMAS. The program is an interdisciplinary program, and it is holistic and it's very student-centered. I work within career services in the university, and I partner with the MEMAS program to provide that employability support, which I think is really important for students coming into an interdisciplinary master's program. There are many key elements of employability that are threaded through the MEMAS Masters, which is why it makes it a very easy program for me to partner directly with. Joe Healy's module was mentioned earlier, and that module, I work with Joe on that module to support employability from the research side, bringing in employers, but also to provide that practical advice and preparation for CVs, interviews, the jobs market. And I think something that the 3 alumni have spoken about as well is that preparedness to make sure that you can leverage your skills for where you want to go into maybe the same journey for you or maybe a different journey for you for your employability. So I do a lot of work with students both individually and in small groups in relation to CVs and preparing for the recruitment market, which, as the students have said, is slightly different. So in Ireland, a lot of the graduate employers and also the placement and internship employers actually activate or start their recruitment process before Christmas. It can be quite early on in the new year. In the new academic year, as in October. So there is a bit of a push on, particularly in August and September, when you start to make sure that you know maybe where you're going, leveraging off your skills and preparing you for the employment market in Ireland. So I provide managed support for work placements. That means that I partner with key employers locally and nationally, and sometimes internationally, to provide those placement opportunities for the MEMAS students. So those placements are pre-negotiated in terms of contracts and in terms of pay, for example, collect CVs, organize interviews, and support students through the work placement process. But the jobs market in Ireland it's very buoyant in the area of finance and IT at the moment. So students do secure graduate jobs as well externally on the jobs market, and that happens quite a bit. I suppose some of our key strategic partners for the MEMAS program, we work with employers in lots of different sectors. We work with employers in the IT sector, so VMware, part of Dell. For example, we'd also work with companies in the fund area, such as Aldradomus, BNY Mellon. We would work with employers for placement where Rashna is in Glanbia. We have an exclusive relationship with Glanbia, as well as FMC Agro. We work very tightly with the big 4 professional services firms, EY, KPMG, Deloitte, and PwC. We have a very strong pharmaceutical sector in Munster in Ireland. So, we have, again, very strong relationships and exclusive relationships, for example, for the MEMAS program with Janssen, BioMarin, Boston Scientific, and energy companies such as Solar Wind all partner really strongly with the program. They love the mix, the interdisciplinary mix for MEMAS. They really like the students. So whether you're a student coming in with, previous work experience like Rashna, or somebody coming in to leverage your undergrad into a different area or a slightly specific area, either IS or accounting or a mixture, those roles are there for you, and we support that through the program. A couple of hints and tips, and these were things that I think the students were talking about in their conversations, is that preparedness is to you can actually start preparing for the Irish jobs market before you get here. So the UCC's Career Services website is a treasure trove of information in relation to your CVs, to what the jobs market is like. We've recently created a podcast which talks about the international student stories, about how they found the jobs market, and some videos as to, again, that pre-entry piece, what you can do beforehand. You can start looking at and developing your employability skills, and seeing what you can, on top of your academics, talk to employers in Ireland about, because employers in Ireland really like students who are involved in sport or in committees, or who have hobbies and interests outside of their academic area as well. That's very important to employers here. When you arrive in UCC, it's, we really love people to get involved in the UCC community, and our employers love to see that you're taking advantage of all the supports that are here for you. We've got an amazing clubs and societies that you can learn so much from, get to know people here, and, network and find out from the people that you're playing with, or socializing with in the clubs and societies, what the jobs market is like. Ireland is a very small place, so we bump into people a lot, and that forms part of our network. So again, the more you get out there, the better. And the recruitment fair was mentioned a lot in terms of one of the key events that Career Services organises for all students every year. So the last 2 years, the recruitment fair has been an online event due to COVID-19. But in spite of the online nature of the recruitment fair, we had the highest number of graduate applicants, at over 2,000 graduate applicants through the online portal, the platform, last year. And it was really, really strong event. So again, it's a fantastic opportunity for students to meet with employers, to discuss with employers what opportunities they have, and to discuss your own as a student, your own particular situation, your own story, and what's the jobs market like for you. But also on top of that, Career Services also organises lots of other employer events that would be feeding into the MEMAS program, and would be feeding in to your support network in UCC. So it's been a pleasure to talk to you, and loving hearing the stories from the previous students, and looking forward to you all starting in UCC on the MEMAS program in the near future. So thanks, Oliver.
Thanks very much, Aileen. I suppose we'll introduce Wendy, Rowan now, co-director on the program with myself, and the students back, and Aileen as well. So we can open the floor to a Q&A session. Just remember, everyone, you're probably on mute.
Sorry about that. So welcome to the Q&A session. Welcome, Rashna and Tobias. Thank you for joining us today, and thank you for taking the time out of your busy day to take part. So just thinking about what we've discussed already, I wonder if you would be prepared to share a few thoughts with us on the following. So we know that MyMass equips you with both accounting and information system skills, but in what way have you further developed those skills since going into the workplace, would you say?
Shall I say?
Yes, please, Rashna.
Yeah, for me, I've used the accounting side of it, and gone into a bit detail about it, like in the SAP finance field. So I've stuck to the SAP side of things, but I've like done some courses and enhanced myself in the SAP finance and controlling side of things. And that, I guess, like MIMAS was like the first stepping stone for that, like which intrigued me to do that. So yeah.
And what about you, Tobias?
So for me, what I personally did is for the project that I mentioned, the ERP project, we were using a lot of Microsoft tools. And for that reason, I started learning about Logic apps, about the Power Platform, both from Microsoft, and also Office scripts. That's probably less known than VBA. Perhaps some of you know VBA. That's the scripting language from the Office desktop version. And Office scripts is now getting developed from Microsoft for the cloud Office applications. And that's using JavaScript or a superset of that, TypeScript. I also picked up that. So I further developed my skills on the IT side, especially, but also on the job on management accounting things like how to do calculations in practice, how to report to the management properly, and things like that.
It sounds like you've very much gone down hardcore software.
Yeah, I was going to say that, Tobias. You've gone very IT.
It seems like, yeah. It's actually not as much as it seems, but yeah, I definitely went way more to the IT side.
And Rashna, you said you undertook a bit more training. You've done a bit more professional training. What sort of courses have you done?
In the SAP market, we are moving towards HANA. So, like some courses related to that on the finance side, I've done that. I've done those like proper training from SAP.
Oh, sounds really cool. So just going back to your placement or your research project, what do you think were your key learnings from those experiences? What did you gain from undertaking those experiences when you think back? So will we start with you, Tobias?
All right. I think for me, it was the time before that, how to market yourself, how to apply for jobs. That also helped for the management trainee position that I'll start soon. So it was the preparation that helped me the most. Once I was in the job, I felt like I had an easy start because I knew the company already. I worked there before. I knew the team. So it was a bit different from a normal internship or placement, I would say, but especially the time before that, where you go through how to apply how to apply yourself and how to make your knowledge count for the enterprise. That's where I learned the most, and that's where I got key experiences also.
Thank you. And Rashna?
For me, I guess, the preparation, obviously, because I had certain experience, and then Aileen and some other, like the professionals, they really helped me, to carve that out so that it matches the requirements, to the jobs and that I'm applying to. And then once I started at Boston Scientific, that 1 year, like I was very new to supply chain management, but the environment there and the sort of learnings I've had there has been great, which really helps me, like combines all of the learnings that I've had in the 5-6 years and helps me in the current role to a great deal. So, yeah.
So we know that the program has a mixture of accounting and IS modules, and we know that the accounting modules has a lot of accreditation bodies attached to those. Perhaps, Oliver, you'd like to talk us through a bit more on that?
Thanks very much, Wendy. Yeah, I suppose Rashna mentioned it earlier that there was a couple of people who had ACCA backgrounds or were doing the ACCA exams. However, kind of the mix of people we got didn't go down that route, but the actual program itself offers accreditation from the three major accounting bodies here in Ireland and globally. So we have the ACCA, we offer the foundational accreditation for those programs. We have CIMA, we offer almost all of the foundational examinations for CIMA. And then we have Chartered Accountants Ireland as well. So we are currently in the process of gaining accreditation with them as well. Typically, ACCA would be the biggest draw for the program, but the program itself and the way it's set up would be heavily geared towards CIMA.
And Rashna, did you find these accreditations helpful in your career?
Like For me, not much, because I wanted to learn the intricacies of finance, but not actually get into it in detail. But yeah, as a person who doesn't know anything about it, any course that would start like related to finance or management, I was really skeptical, because you are in a room full of people with different backgrounds, and they know finance much more than you do. Like, you don't even know the ABCs. But the professors started off with like very minute details were like covered in the course, and that really helped me. So no, I have not done the major courses like those, but overall, yeah, the learnings helped me.
So when you're thinking back to when you first thought about studying the MSc MyMaths, what did you do to get prepared to come and study at UCC? Can you remember?
From
I think for me, oh, go ahead.
no, go ahead. I've been speaking a lot.
So for me, I started practicing English a bit more because obviously I needed that. And I also, gathered information about the study system in Ireland, the difference between a research program and a practical program, a taught program like MIMAS. I wasn't familiar with that before. And so for me personally, I was gathering a lot of information about the national specifications in Ireland and the Irish academic.
Thank you. And Rachna?
For me, it was a huge change. Like, even like I've come across continents. So, yeah, basically preparing myself, like I spoke to the students, like the alumni before, and I sort of asked them what should be my preparation. So they just gave me some basic tips on, on the finance or the accounting or the management side of things. If I could, read something about this topic or do certain basic courses which might help. So that is how I prepared for it.
Very good. And there's loads of societies in UCC. Did any of you join any particular societies when you was here?
Yeah, the Harry Potter one. Yeah, every week, every week we used to have a screening, and we used to all be there with chocolates and popcorn. So yeah, and the Cancer Society as well. But the Harry Potter one is a major. I have the Gryffindor muffler, and we used to be there with all of that.
That sounds brilliant.
Yeah, it was. I miss college so bad.
And Tobias?
I also joined a couple of sport clubs, but the sad thing was that our year was during COVID, and you couldn't do much sports at the time. So I joined the tennis club, but unfortunately didn't play tennis a single time because of COVID. But yeah, there's still a lot of it. So I think it's great when you get the chance to do it.
And it's true, we have all been online for the last 2 years, but it's nice to see the campus back open and people actually, around the place and getting engaged, and the live lectures in the lecture halls again, which is great. So, well, from your UCC MyMaths experience, what would you say were your key takeaways that will you carry forward on in your professional life? And that's open to anybody who'd like to go first.
I think my key takeaways is that key takeaways are that you always benefit from having the theory foundation when starting with something. So as I've mentioned, I was self-taught in IT, and once I went through the theory, I realized how important it is to have some knowledge from university or another professional body, because I could have spared myself so much headache figuring things out by myself with just going through the theory, starting a course in the discipline, and that's really the key takeaway for me.
Brilliant, thank you. And Rachna?
Almost on the similar line, yeah, even I was much into IT, but then, as I even mentioned earlier, like there were people from so diverse fields, and even the professors, and even all the, who people who had come to like give us sessions, like, from supply chain management to accounting to SEMA to core IT developers. There was like a good blend, and like certain things, in my career which I wouldn't have explored, but then like maybe that 1 year helped me to think in that particular direction as well. So it opened doors for me in a lot of ways.
Yeah, I mean, this course is a conversion course. It is open to everybody. So if you was trying to encourage somebody to join, what would you say to them?
I feel if they are looking like any of the particular fields, like if I would suggest if anyone is into supply chain or IT or consultancy or finance, and they want to pursue this, but they even want to have a grasp of the other aspects as well, like MIMAS is like the best course out there to come and gain that experience.
That's
I think
brilliant.
one of the things we try to hit home, and it's something talking to you that we get as a takeaway ourselves out of it, is it offers such a diverse opportunity for so many people that you go in and you're going to get a set of opinions and arguments and discussions, disagreements that you won't find in many other courses, because you're coming from all backgrounds, from everywhere. So I think that really is something that we try and champion in the course, is that just because you have an opinion, it doesn't mean that you're right or the other person's right. There's trade-offs and takeaways and everything in there. So it's great to get try and get as much teamwork and group work to get those opinions across as possible within the groups.
Yeah.
Yep. So in terms of other supports on the program, we've talked about some of the UCC societies and things. What other supports on the program did you find really beneficial? So you could be thinking about Aileen and some of the other team members or some other people that you've come across during your studies.
I think for me it was that we were a rather small group. I think about 20 people. For German standards, for a master's degree, that's very small. So you have a more close relationship to your lecturers. And for that reason, you can always ask your lecturers questions, and you can always engage with them, get opinions, ask for some tips. And I think for me, for that reason, the best resource you have is engagement with the lecturers and with the knowledge that you can get from them. And that's really the most important point for me.
Okay, and Rashna?
The career services was like a major help thing for me in the beginning. And like our batch was a big batch, I guess, like 42 people. But then still, like I guess I worked with everyone in the batch. So, and even if you have any doubts or something, you could always reach out to them. And the professors were very helpful. Like you have some submissions or anything, if you have any doubt, you could reach out to them on the I remember I'm sorry if I don't remember the exact term, but we had like an app where you could just talk to the professors directly, and you could where you upload a submission. So that was very helpful.
Brilliant. And any questions, Oliver, you'd like to pose?
I have one more, and I suppose we'll pass over to Patricia then, and I'll just kind of wrap up and we'll pass over to Patricia. So both of you kind of came from semi-IT backgrounds and may not have had much experience in, we'll say, the financial side or that coming into it. So how did you find learning from zero knowledge coming into, we'll say, finance and accounting? Was it taken from the ground up, or did you find yourself at a learning curve or anything there?
For me, yes. Like I had absolutely no background in finance, so that was a major help. That everything was. I don't remember the professor's name, but the one who teaches financial accounting, he went from zero, and he explained what is debit, what is credit, and then I reached to a stage where I could do the financial accounting entries to a very good deal, and could balance the sheet off. So that was a big deal for me. So I guess every professor went that way, and even like I've discussed it with my like classmates, and there were people who were from core finance backgrounds, and they felt the same way for IT. So I guess it was a good way of teaching.
Brilliant.
Okay.
For me, I emphasized on the IT part, but actually I do have a background in management accounting because of my bachelor's degree. But even though I had knowledge in finance and management accounting, I still got to know new things, especially because in Germany we've got the HGB for accounting, and in MIMAS you learn about the IFRS, and there are some differences, important differences, and you also get to know them and start from zero there, and that really helps getting that aspect as well.
Thank you very much. I have a question. We'll leave this as the last question. And if you were to sum up your MIMAS experience in one word, what would that word be?
I'll say hybrid.
For me, it could be amazing / exposure, like could be
Brilliant.
one of the words. Yeah.
Thank you so much. I would like to thank you for coming today, John, Rashna and Tobias, and also to Oliver and our lovely placement organiser, Aileen, and to Nicola and Michael for facilitating this event. We are now going to hand over to our postgraduate programme manager, Patricia O'Shaughnessy, who will close the session with information on the programme's application process and financing. So thanks, everybody. Thank you for coming today.
Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Hello, everybody. My name is Trish O'Shaughnessy. I'm the postgraduate programme manager here in Cork University Business School. I'll be talking you through how to apply for a postgraduate programme in pubs. We'll be looking at deadlines, we'll be looking at the entry requirements and the application process itself. So to start off, we're first going to look at the deadlines for offers and for completed applications. So as you can see here, 2 of the deadlines have already passed in January and March. Our next rounds-based systems will take place in May. So for all completed applications received by the 3rd of May, offers will be made by May 17th. For all completed applications received by July 1st, offers will be made by July 15th. So we have 2 more closing dates. But just to make you aware, we do have some programs which are extremely popular and will close early if we reach the quota of students. So I would advise you to apply online as soon as possible. So how to apply online is what I'm going to talk about next. So if you are applying for a taught postgraduate program, you apply online at www.ucc.ie/en/apply. So to put your mind at ease, the application process is quite a simple process. On average, it takes between maybe 5 or 10 minutes to apply for a program. The majority of our programs, over 90%, do not have supplemental questions where you have to answer why you want to do this program. In the majority of cases, it's based on your undergraduate degree results that you've finished, or it will be based on your undergraduate degree results for a conditional offer if you're in 4th year. So there's 1 application and 1 fee of €50, but you can apply for up to 2 programs on this application. Now, you don't have to apply for 2 programs if you know exactly what program that you're applying to, because each program will go to the program administrator or to the program director to make a decision on your application. So this brings us on then to the preference-based system. It's not preference-based. So it's not like the CAO. Every application that you actually make will go for a decision. So it's not necessary to complete all application choices if you don't want to. What will you need to make an application then? So you will need your PPS number, you need your UCC student number, if you are a UCC student, and you'll need your credit card details and an active email account. So this is really important to highlight that active email account. All correspondence will be going through email. You won't be receiving anything in paper format. So we may be looking for additional information, or we may be sending you offers, and all those will go through that email account that you actually provided as part of your application. So you've made your application online. What happens next? So you will receive confirmation emails. Hopefully you will receive some offers. So if you are a 4th year student, either in UCC or in another university, you will be getting a conditional offer if you meet the conditions. So conditional offer usually based on a 2nd class honours grade 1 or a 2nd class honours grade 2, depending on the entry requirements. So once you get your final degree results, if you do meet the entry requirement, if you do meet the conditions of your offer, you'll be automatically offered that place. You'll have 14 working days to either accept or decline your offer. You also may accept one program, but then this offer could be superseded if you're offered another course which you prefer. So for example, you might have applied for an MSc in finance, one of our finance programs, and you might have also applied for an MSc in management and marketing. You could have been offered a place on the MSc in management and marketing, but what you really wanted was a place on the MSc in finance. So you would accept the place in management and marketing. Once you're offered a place in the MSc in finance, once you accept that offer, then it automatically declines your management and marketing offer. So just to be aware, you can get multiple offers, but you can only accept one program. So that's the kind of overview of the taught application process. If you're applying for a research program, it's slightly different. So the application process where you apply online is the same. It's www.ucc.ie/en/apply. But before you apply, you actually need to contact the department first to put you in contact with a supervisor who would have a capacity to supervise you in your area of research. You'll also need to submit a research proposal to the supervisor. The taught programs all start in September, but with the research programs, there's 4 different start dates. So you can either start in July, April, June, or October. But we normally advise you to apply at least 2 months in advance, and there's no specific closing date for research programs. So that was a brief overview of the application system for postgraduate programs here in Cork University Business School. So just to highlight a few important items which we talked about this morning. Do your research and do talk before you apply online. So you can do your research through the CUB's website. They have a lot of information there on careers, on the entry requirements, on the fees for the program. You'll also have listed there the program director's contact details and the program administrator's contact details. So please don't hesitate to contact either of those if you have any questions on any program within CUBS. Do be aware of the closing dates, but also be aware that some of our programs do close early as they're extremely popular, and we will close as soon as our quota is reached. Do check your entry requirements before you apply online. Make sure you're eligible for the program. And finally, as I mentioned, do check your email throughout the summer as you will be receiving updates on your application. So thank you again for your attention today. My name, as I said at the start, is Trish O'Shaughnessy, Postgraduate Program Manager, and you can see my email address there. So if you do have any questions, please feel free to contact me. I'd be happy to talk to you. Thank you.